Welcome, Dr. Marcea Whitaker, to the Nurse Wellness Podcast. I'm so excited that you are here.
Thank you so much, Wendy. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I can't get wait to get started.
Yes. So let's start off by you telling our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I am Dr. Marcea Burnett Whitaker, and I am a physician. I'm also a life coach, and I am the CEO and founder of Info Bloom Health and Life Coaching, and also the founder of Women Ready to Move Academy, where I help women to break out of their personal prison, right? That place where we've been stuck, held up. And I help them to do three things. One is to discover who they are, decide what they want, and then we get to work on delivering on their destiny.
Ooh, I love the D's. I love that. I love that. So you said a lot of interesting things. So you are a physician. How did you transition into entrepreneurship?
Right. So that's a transitioning. It's an ongoing process. So yes, I am board certified in internal medicine. I did private practice or HMO based clinical medicine. And then I've been in public health for the last 20 years while also seeing patients. And so what I noticed is that there's a shift that, and I'm sure you have experienced it, there's a shift in that patient that needs to happen for them to do the treatment, right? It's kind of like you can't give a patient a treatment they don't want. I mean, they may take it in their hand, but they're not actually going to take it or do it unless they have bought into it. They have bought into the process, bought into the treatment plan. And so I think there's something that's missing in how we get from that A to the buy-in.
Ooh, yes. And I think that's the problem in medicine now, is that we can write the prescription, we can give the advice, but we are not tapping into that thing that really helps the patient take the pill or actually execute on the intervention. So I think that is key, and coaching that's where it comes in. But a lot of us healthcare providers, we are not versed in coaching. We are versed in, assessing, diagnosing, planning, implementing, and evaluating, and just diagnosing them. But so that is key. So you are still a practicing physician, and you are also, you have your coaching business. So talk to us a little bit about who you work with and why you chose to work with that population specifically.
Yes. So I work with professional women, and I have a heart for women, mainly because I am one, right? But I also understand so intimately the struggles that we go through, and particularly our African American women. And we're brought up to be what? To be strong, right? To uh, not to show our emotion, not to need, not to ask. And what that does, it makes us live this life where we're always in need of something that we can't ask for. And so when you live life that way, you end up getting 30, 40, 50, and you realize something was missing. You spend all this time feeding into other people, your family members, which, your job, your whatever, church members. But at the end of the day, you are now broken and busted and hurting. And so now we start, when you get to that realization, you're like, okay, what do I do now? And I think those are the women that I speak to, because that was what I lived.
Yes, that's amazing and so true. Being a Black woman, that resonates with me. How has being a coach and kind of doing your own thing outside of medicine helped you be a better provider when you are with patients in a clinical setting?
It has helped me both personally and as a provider. And so from a personal, from a provider perspective, I now read people better. I always read them, but now I'm reading them in terms of, okay, what's important to them? How do I get on, in my coaching program, we talked about how to get on their map. What is their map? first of all, and how do I get on it? A lot of times we may understand someone else's map. We're like, you know what? I ain't going over there. I'm staying over here because this is what you need to do. But I'm like, you know what? Tell me how you feel about this. And so once I transition there, they don't want the medicine. And they're not going to take the medicine, even if I give it to them. So why am I going to fight them on that? Let's deal with what we can work with. What can we change? Where can we partner to then get to the next step? From a personal perspective, it has helped me as far as my outlook on things in terms of, again, what I can control. Some things I can't control, and I have to be okay with that. So it helps all around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just in medicine now, it's so stressful for physicians, for APPs, for nurses. As you know, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Stress levels are high. Burnout is definitely high. What would you say to providers who are listening, who are feeling stressed, burnt out, and just kind of falling out of love with the profession? Just from your standpoint, being a physician and coaching, I think you have a different perspective on things, in terms of being a healthcare provider and a coach who have helped move people forward or even out of, that realm of focusing on what they can control and what they can't control. What would your advice be to providers listening?
So I'm going to use just now I'm going to use the example of me coughing. When we are struggling, what we try to do is we try to push through. We don't acknowledge that we just coughed. We don't acknowledge that we may actually need a minute to take a sip of water. We may need a minute to take a knee. We may need a few days, a few weeks to heal, not even to heal, to get your bearings after a family member has passed. But what we do is we're just like, you know what? I can write everyone else a note for work. But me, okay, I'm going to take these 12 hours and I'm going to charge back in there. I remember it's been a while ago, I had a Saturday shift to work. And that Friday night at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I had a near choking event. I was trying to swallow this pill and it got caught. And I mean, trying to do the Heimlich, calling, my kids were calling the ambulance. My neighbor was is a nurse practitioner, a doctor of nurse practitioner. They're calling her, they're coming over. And all of that happened. And I went to work the next day. Right. And so that is an example of how we do. We're like, you know what? I'm sacrificing myself. But when we sacrifice ourselves, we sacrifice ourselves. And we are not able to then help somebody else. So to the burnt out or the burning out provider, take a knee if you must. Take that vacation. Do the FMLA. Do leave of absence. Do the massage. Go down to, instead of being a 1.0 FTE, go to 0.8. Do something where you are feeding into yourself. Take the sip of water. Decide what you need. Put your mask on first. And now you can go help somebody else.
You bring up a really good point. It made me think of unseen traumas. So you had this traumatic experience the night before, but then you show up in your white coat like nothing happened, where psychologically it's still impacting you, but physically you're showing up to take care of the people when you're not even taking care of yourself mentally. So interesting. And I think we do it so often and so well until the nail really just comes through and there's no more hiding. And then that can look different for many people. And I think that's what we're seeing now, just with this pandemic.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow. So tell us more about your program. Your academy, I want to hear more about that, what you do in the academy, how can people tap into you if they're interested in finding out more, how they work with you. Talk to us a little bit about the academy.
Yeah, so the academy is called Women Ready to Move. And the way that it came out, I was in a coaching session and it was like a guided meditation kind of thing. And the coach had me kind of go through the whole process. And when I got to the end, and she said, go ahead and turn around, And so in my head, I'm turning around. And what I saw women, a whole host of women on one knee, about to rise up, to get up from where they were. And the thought was that woman was ready to move. And a lot of times in life, we know we're ready. We're ready for a change. We're ready for a shift. We're ready for that next level, but we just don't know how. We don't know. We kind of have an idea of the what. So a lot of people have an idea of the what. Some people just don't know yet, because that's a whole nother, that's the second phase of this. But they just need guidance. They need structure. They need accountability. They need someone to help pull it out of them. We have everything that we need. We just need someone to help pull it out. And so I do a 12-month group coaching program that is the bomb. And just to seeing how the women are responding, how they are increasing their confidence, increasing their self-validation, increasing their power. And whenever I get, to be able to get some feedback from them, it always makes my heart warm. But I see them up and moving, up and going to their destiny. Oh, and so if you're interested, check me out at drmarcea.com. And that's Marcea instead of an I, E instead of an I.
Awesome. And I saw that you have a book. You're a published author.
I am. I co-authored a book that's already out, and I have my new book. It's called Marked from Birth. That is a solo book coming out in June 4th. And it is a transformational journey from flawed to fabulous. And so we all have that flaw, right? That thing that we don't like, that we actually hate it. It caused wrecked our life. And just thinking about it makes us say, I wish I didn't have it. And my flaw is my birthmark and on my face. And so a lot of people say, I don't even see it. I'm like, it's there. You just gotta look, right? And it wrecked my adolescence to the place where it took, probably in college, I started kind of like, I got to a point, I'm through with this. People are gonna like me, whether they like me or not, whether I have the birthmark or not. But it also ran over into other areas of my life. It wasn't just the birthmark. It affected my self-esteem. It affected things that was the threads of it are through my entire life. But once I leaned into it, it's now my superpower. And it has transitioned me from where I was flawed to now where I am fabulous.
And yes, you are fabulous. And for those of you who are listening, I heard Dr. Marcea Whitaker speak on stage, and oh my goodness, powerful.
Thank you.
So she is a speaker as well. If you ever want her to come to your institution and disrupt things.
I love it. Yes.
She's the one to call. So this has been such a great conversation. I would love to have you back. But before I let you go, I have to do a rapid fire. Is that okay?
Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Awesome.
What you got?
Okay, well, tell me what comes to your mind. First answer. Wellness means?
Wellness means healthy.
I know I'm stressed when?
I stop eating the way I should.
My go-to stress management solution is?
Eating.
One thing people get wrong about me is?
Oh gosh, people get wrong about me is maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I guess maybe not approachable.
Okay, we can go with that. If you can visit any place in the world, where would you go?
Dubai is on the top of my list these days.
I would love to go to Dubai as well. Yes. One word that describes you.
I'm gonna say fabulous.
Yes. One thing you learned about yourself during this pandemic is?
Strength.
I love that. And the last time you had a belly laugh was?
Oh gosh, probably this morning.
What happened?
You know how something happened on a social media, and I posted it to a friend of mine, and she agreed, and she said something funny, sent back a meme, and I just let it all out.
Awesome, awesome. And Dr. Whitaker, if there's one piece of advice you can leave for our audience, what would that be?
One piece of advice, I would say invest in yourself. We invest in Xbox, PlayStation, bags, red bottoms, but we don't invest in the stuff, the thing that's going to move us, that's going to remain after the Amazon package has been opened.
The
Invest,
intangibles.
invest in the mind.
All right. And with that, thank you so much. And we'll definitely have to have you back for a part 2.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Wendy.
You're welcome.